Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would share with you the last 15 books that I have for my 1001 book countdown for 2023. If you're not familiar with the 1001 book countdown, I will of course leave a card up here for you where you can go and check out the original video. But basically I'm reading books off of the 1001 books you must read before you die list and slowly making my way through that massive project. Every year at the beginning of the year, I pre-select 52 books that I try and focus on for the year with the intent of trying to get that number down to 0. So what I have left is 15 books for the rest of 2023. So October, November, and December. And a lovely commenter had asked if I would do a short for it, but I decided to do a little bit longer video for you of show you all of the books that I have left to try and read by the end of the year to get that number to 0. Will this year be the year? I don't know if it will. There's some long books on here, I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to start first with my physical books, and then I have 3 books that I actually don't own, and I'll talk about those last. The first book is The Accidental by Ali Smith. Ali Smith actually has 2 books on the countdown, this one, and I believe Winter from her Quartet series, and I have actually finished reading this one already. It will show up in a 1001 book countdown for next week. I believe I will have a countdown, but I have actually finished reading this particular book. I'm really looking forward to talking about it in a countdown video, but this is one of the 15 that I had left. The next book that I have left is actually my book club pick for the month of October to celebrate Victober, and that is Charles Dickens and Great Expectations. I picked this one specifically for Victober and to be able to read something to celebrate Victorian literature in the month of October. What's interesting is I have read a very short amount. I think I've read the first chapter of this particular book so far. What I didn't realize is that I knew that there was a Dickens novel with a character named Pip, and Havisham, I believe is the name. I didn't realize it was Great Expectations. So I'm very excited now to read this particular one and see what all the fuss is about for Pip. I don't know. My next book is actually my November book club pick, which is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I'm excited to be reading this one. I think it's my second Gaskell, so should be a good one. I have heard good things about North and South. The back of this one, the start of this one says, when her father leaves the church in a crisis of conscience, Margaret Hale is uprooted from her comfortable home in Hampshire to move with her family to the north of England. Initially repulsed by the ugliness of her new surroundings in the industrial town of Milton, Margaret becomes aware of the poverty and suffering of the local mill workers and develops a passionate sense of social justice. This is intensified by her tempestuous relationship with the mill owner and self-made man John Thornton, as their fierce opposition over his treatment of his employees masks a deeper attraction. Oh, okay. So yeah, North and South. That will be my November book club, and my December book club is Emile Zola, Nana. In the back of this one, so will be my first Emile Zola. I've never read anything. I do love this cover so much. This very simple color cover, and the back of this one says, featuring one of the most unconventional and controversial heroines of all time, Nana follows the life of a girl as she rises from the squalor of the Paris streets to become the star of the acclaimed Theatre des Varietés. She quickly gains fame and a host of male admirers, but as Nana plays with her companions' emotions, leading them to ruin, misfortune, and even suicide, she risks destroying herself in the process. Should be good. It'll be a good December read. So that is the 4th book. The 5th book is La Reine Margot by Alexandre Dumas. I have wanted to read this one for a long time. I love the Count of Monte Cristo. I love the Three Musketeers, and so I'm excited to read this one. This is the only other Dumas that's on the countdown, so it has been one that has been on my list for so long, and I think I've owned this copy for a bit. The back of this one says, St. Bartholomew's Day, 1572, Paris is awash with the blood of the Huguenots, slaughtered by the order of King Charles, or perhaps of Catherine of Medicis, one of history's great monsters, or the ambitious Duke of Guise, or the Duke of Anjou, soon to be the reluctant King of Poland. It takes an iron nerve and a cool head to survive. Young Henry of Navarre has both in abundance, but he has more. He has his queen, the beautiful, cultured Margot, who stakes all on love and remains defiant in defeat. Very sounds great, like a very good Dumas novel. I've never heard of this one before looking at the countdown, so I am really, really excited to read this particular one. We'll see how it goes. Book 6 is Native Son by Richard Wright. You will see that there is a bookmark in here. I have made it a fair amount through this. I have made it about 70 pages through this particular book. This has a character whose name is Bigger in it, and he is right at the point where he's getting ready to make some what appear to be very bad decisions. And so I am interested in getting back to this one. This is one I'm prioritizing in the month of October because I would like to get back into it before I forget everything that happened in the first part of this book. But Native Son by Richard Wright. The next book I have is a library book, so it's very nondescript. You can tell it's a very old copy. This book came from central storage at my library system. That's what the CS means. This book is called The Torrents of Spring by Turgenev, by Ivan Turgenev. This book is also called Spring Torrents from what I've seen on the 1001 list, actually. This edition was translated originally in 1959, and this book certainly looks like it is fairly old. So yeah, I'm a little bit leery about reading this library book from this. I don't know anything about this, and of course, because there's no slipcover and there's no dust jacket of any kind on this, I don't have a summary to read. But this is one that is a library book that I will hopefully be reading in October, so I can get it back to the library and they can put it back probably in storage. But that is this one, Torrents of Spring, or Spring Torrents by Turgenev. The next book that I have is this one, Martin Amis's Money. This one also has a subtitle that says Money, a Suicide Note, which makes me terrified to read this particular one. I don't remember if I've read any Martin Amis. He has 5 books on the countdown, so that's one of the reasons why I got put it on my 2023 list, so I could actually try and make it through, or so I could start reducing some of the books down by authors that had a lot of representation on the list. The back of this one says, John Self, one of London's top directors of commercials, is in New York making his first feature film, alternatively titled Good Money and Bad Money. He is also living money, talking money, and spending money on all the excesses 20th century culture has to offer: drink, dope, sex, fast food, and love. After several weeks of major degeneracy, he beats a retreat to London in an attempt to fathom what is going on in his wretched life, only to confront new temptations and new terrors. That's as far as I'm going to go. It's not super long, so that's good news. So we'll see how that one goes. The next book I've shown a few times on my channel, I just haven't quite gotten to it, which is The Black Prince by Iris Murdoch. This one I've opened, I've read a couple pages, and the introduction confuses me of this because there's multiple forewords in this book. There's an editor foreword, and then there's a Bradley Pearson's foreword, and then there's Bradley Pearson's story. And so it always confuses me what's going on in the very beginning of this book, and I haven't quite gotten past that first part of it, so it has languished on my shelves. I really want to read another Iris Murdoch. I read The Sea last January, not this January, but in 2022. I read that for one of my first book club picks. So I am excited to get back to Iris Murdoch, but this one just seems to languish on my shelf for some reason. So that's the next one. I also have one of my most difficult authors for me. I have Virginia Woolf and To the Lighthouse. She is one of the most well-represented authors on the 1001 list. There are 7 books at the time that I selected this one for my countdown on the 1001 book list. I have read a couple books. I read Orlando. I think that's the only one I've actually read, and I DNF'd Mrs. Dalloway. So Virginia Woolf has the honor of being one of the few authors that I have DNF'd one of their books on the countdown. I did find a audiobook for this one and would like to I think I'm going to try listening to a little bit of it and seeing if I can get into the story. So we'll see how this one goes. It isn't super long, but neither was Mrs. Dalloway, and I didn't make it through it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this one goes. I have E.L. Doctorow's City of Love. And I think E.L. Doctorow actually has several books, 3 books maybe on the list. I don't have it written down. I have a little sticky on the back of this particular one. This one, it says, with brilliant and audacious strokes, the author of Ragtime and Billy Bathgate creates breathtaking collage of memories, events, visions, and provocative thought, all centered on an idea of the modern reality of God. At the heart of this stylistically daring tour de force is a riveting detective story about a cross that vanishes from a Lower East Side church only to reappear on the roof of an Upper West Side synagogue. Intrigued by mystery and by the Episcopal priest and female rabbi who investigate the strange desecration is a well-known novelist whose capacious brain is a virtual repository for the idea and disasters of the age. Yikes. Okay, well, it doesn't sound super thrilling to me, and it is clocking in at, this particular book is 272 pages, so it looks thicker than it is. It's like the paper is really thick on this particular book for some reason, but it is just under 300 pages. The last physical book that I have is also the longest book that I have, and it is Freedom by Jonathan Franzen. This book is about 550 pages long. So it is the longest book that I have left on my countdown this year. It is a chunker of a book. I've read the corrections by Franzen and wasn't super enthralled, so I'm a little leery about this one. I do know I can get an audiobook though from the library if I struggle with it, so that's going to kind of be my plan. I don't know how I'm going to get along with it. Yeah, it's a little concerning. So, but yeah, this is the longest one. So if I was smart, I would not save this one to December because I'm already like leery about reading it. But we'll see, because I have a few other books kind of coming from the library. The next 3 books and the last 3 books I don't have physical copies of. I have 2 coming from the library right now and a third one that I purchased as an ebook. So the first book that I'll talk about is Loving by Henry Green. It is 224 pages long, and I will tell you that I have tried to read this one already at least once. I think I made it about 35% of the way through and then just was like, I don't want to read this anymore, and ended up putting it away and giving it back to the library. So I will try again. And it is on its way. It says it's in transit to my local library, so hopefully I will see it in the next couple of weeks and I could start picking that one up again. But yeah, I love it. It'll be my second Henry Green novel. Henry Green does have a number of books on the 1001 countdown. In fact, I own another one called Living, so we'll see how this one goes. But I wasn't super impressed with the first parts that I read of that particular book. The next book that I have is Aaron's Rod by D.H. Lawrence. This one is coming in at 352 pages, so again, it's not short. I read all my short ones, everyone. In September, I read so many short books that I feel like all I have left are everything is over 200 pages. It's not good for me. That's not good news. But Aaron's Rod by D.H. Lawrence, I don't actually know much about this book, and I don't have it as a physical copy. I have it as an ebook, so we'll see how it goes with that particular one. And the last one that I have is Castle Richmond by Anthony Trollope. It will be my first Anthony Trollope, but it's 442 pages long. Yikes. Very long. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit rough. It's gonna be a bit rough. I'm not gonna lie. But those are the 15 books that I have left to read for this year. Actually, I only have 14 left to read because I did already finish The Accidental. You'd think that make it sound better, but no, I'm still super intimidated by reading 14 books over the next 3 months. So we'll see how that goes. Have you read any of these? Please let me know. I'd love to have you join the book club as well over the next 3 months. If you're interested, I will leave my Discord linked in the description below for you, but wish me luck. I know I was successful on the 30 books in 30 days. Will this be the year that I make it to 0? I don't know. We'll see. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.